Hello, good afternoon, students. So today we have Mr. Ritwik Khanna with us. Ritwik was there with us 2 years ago also, and he had spoken for this channel. And his video had made a huge success with more than 10,000 views. And we have a good news to share that Ritwik has made it big after doing his BA honors in economics from Hansraj College, Delhi University. He is now going to France, to Paris School of Economics to pursue his master's in public policy and development. So, with Ritwik being here, we are going to learn from his experiences and journey. Welcome to Education View 360, Ritwik.
Thank you for the kind introduction. It's a
Thank you.
pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Ritwik. Thank you for sparing your time. I'm sure your experience is going to help many aspirants who wish to follow this path. So, my first question to you is that please tell our audience how to select a course, especially in economics, for the post graduation.
So for economics, there are two routes that you can go down. Either you can prefer a more subjective course, like mine is more oriented towards public policy and development, or you can pick a more generalized MSc economics or MA economics. So if you have a clear idea in mind that you want to pursue a specific sector within economics, say public policy or financial economics, then you should pursue that course. How you can figure that out is by reading more during your first 2 years of undergrad or interning in different areas so that you have a wider perspective. Otherwise, even within a generalized course, you have an option for specialization in different fields. So, selecting a course is not that stressful an aspect.
Right. So, coming to my second question, Ritvik, now we've talked about the course. Also, please tell our students what strategy to put in place for selecting a college or a university.
So again, the choice of college comes down to what course you want, and it helps to apply to 3 to 4 colleges. One of them should be your safety option, wherein you're pretty sure that you can get into it. And apart from that, it depends on what kind of course structure you want and what the college's orientation is. So, for example, a Cambridge is more academic oriented, while LSE is more oriented towards the workforce and the corporate life. So it depends on what path you want to go down in the future, and according to that, you can select your university. And of course, for a lot of people, the admission form charges also come into a factor over selecting on how many universities to apply.
Right. So, would you mind sharing your list of colleges that you had applied to for your PG?
Yeah, so I had applied to London School of Economics, Cambridge University, Paris School of Economics, and University of Manchester.
Right. So, you got into one of your best colleges. That's great. Right.
Yeah.
So, Ritvik, when to start the application process? Can you share the timeline?
Yeah, so for the forms open usually in late September or early October for most universities, and the they're open till late March, or they're open on a rolling basis for some universities as well. If you want a scholarship, then you need an early decision. So it's better to apply by late November or December, because then you can have your decision by February or March, and then the scholarship deadlines are still in play.
Right. So that takes me to my next question. So, what are the scholarships available for the postgraduate students, especially in the field of economics, and how to apply for them?
Yeah, so a lot of colleges have their own, all colleges have some or the other scholarships of their own. They have departmental scholarships, they have college wide scholarships, and apart from that, there are separate third party institutions as well that offer scholarships to students. So for the departmental scholarships, there's no separate application form. It's inbuilt into the application for the course. For some of the college scholarships, there is a separate application form because they're usually in association with someone else. So, for example, UK universities are offer scholarships in associations with the Commonwealth. So there is an additional form within additional section within the form that you have to fill. So that information is usually there. You have an option whether you want to apply for it or not. And for the third party scholarships, you can usually apply only after you have the decision, whether you after you receive the admission offer. So that usually comes through in March or April. where most third-party scholarships like Tata Trust or Inlax have their deadlines.
Right, right. So, do you have a list of these out third party scholarships which you can share with the students and they can benefit out of it?
They mostly vary depending on the course you have. There's only a few that apply to all applicants abroad. Tata Trust, Inlax, and Rhodes scholarships are, of course, some of the major ones. Fulbright, Nehru for applicants to the USA. But it's easier to research on your own and see which one is applicable to you, because there
Right,
are a lot of scholarships that are applicable to for just women applicants as well. So it's
right.
easier to do that individually.
All right. So, other than the scholarship part of it, do you also have to write any exams to be eligible for masters in economics abroad? And what are these exams and when to write them?
Yeah, so the graduate record examination or the GRE is one which some universities ask for, though it's not a compulsion in all of them. And especially if you're applying to the UK, then GRE as well as the IELTS, which is the English language examination test. And I would recommend that you write the GRE beginning your 2 to 3 weeks before beginning your application process, so that you have the scores at hand, and they can easily be handed over to the university.
All right. So, did was you require were you required to submit your GRE scores to Paris School of Economics, and what is the score that they expect?
Yeah, so the GRE is usually counted as a qualifying criteria. Any score above 310 on 340 is considered to be a good score. And I found that the GRE is not a very difficult examination to give. It's just about managing your time in the examination.
You're right. Absolutely right. So, Ritvik, my next question is what is the difference between MA, MSc, and the MPhil courses that are offered by these universities?
So the MA and MSc courses do not have any inherent difference. It's just a matter of perspective how the university views economics as. Some colleges view it as an art subject, some view it as a science subject or a finance subject. So those that varies. But the MPhil is a confusing one because I got stuck there. I accidentally applied to an MPhil degree even though I was not eligible. So the MPhil one is for students who have already completed 4 years of education, and it's oriented towards entry into academia. So that is something that people need to be careful about.
All right, that's a very important insight. Also, yes, when you mentioned 4 years, most of these universities now, since Delhi University has undergraduation for 3 years, so do you think was that a hindrance in seeking admission to a postgraduate course?
No, not particularly, because the undergrad course of Delhi University is still good on paper. So, universities for the masters and MSc courses, a 3 year education is sufficient.
All right.
For America, you might have to research more because I did not apply there, so I do not have the requisite information for that.
Right. Ritvik, also tell our students that how important is the role of a consultant in helping them seek admission to a foreign university? And did you maneuver everything on your own or did you take any outside help?
So I did everything on my own, and I feel that some parts are a bit confusing, but they can be managed on your own. The consultant simplifies a lot of things, but it also, they help you write this personal statement on your own, which you should be writing. So that feels a bit artificial. So I would not recommend going for a consultant if unless there is a massive amount of confusion in your brain.
Okay. And also, can you just list out those challenges which you said that there are some parts which are confusing? So, what were these hardships or the parts that you felt that at times you could have taken help of a consultant?
So there were some places have while the application deadline is say in March, the application deadline uh, for the funding is earlier. So for example, Cambridge, the application course deadline is in March, but if you want to apply for funding, then you have to apply in December. So that was one aspect that I had missed, and I had to complete my entire application in one day. So these are things that uh, that a consultant helps in being more organized, but this is something that you can do on your own as well. Apart from that, again, the listing of the scholarships, it's a bit of a difficult search, and I'm sure that a consultant would be able to help that in a better way.
All right. I have seen, I mean, some of my students also do go to consultants, and most of the time, what I saw was that they were still struggling with the letter of reference. They were still struggling with the personal statement and SOP. So I really don't think that hiring a consultant means that you get rid of all these responsibilities. I think still you have to carve your own SOP and carve your own statement of purpose. So, could you share some tips about these statement of purpose, how to write it, what to bear in mind?
Yeah, so I feel that the statement of purpose is perhaps the most important part of the application, because since there is no personal interview in these universities, the statement of purpose is what you have to convey your goals and your plans to the admission committee. So for that, the most important thing is that what you have done in the past, your past experience, the course you're pursuing, and what you want to do in the future should all come together in the personal statement. So, for example, I have done a lot of football work in my past, and one of the areas of research that I want apart from public policy is to do research into the intersection of sports and economics. So, that is something that I conveyed through my statement of purpose. So, it should be personalized, it should make sense, it should bring your whole profile together.
You are right. Perfectly brought out, Ritwik. So, Ritwik, just tell me if I have missed on to anything that you feel is important, should be discussed here on this platform for the benefit of students. You can just mention that.
Yes, since you mentioned the letter of reference, I think that's one point that I also missed out upon.
Yes.
That I would recommend talking to your teachers beforehand and informing them of whichever universities you're applying to and what their deadlines are, because obviously teachers also have a lot on their plate, and it will affect things for them as well as for you. So that is one aspect that needs to be kept in mind. Apart from that, I think we've covered most things. I don't think there's anything else.
Ritwik, I also have one question, which should be my last question for the day. Did you? I saw in your profile that you write some research paper. So tell us the importance of research paper and how it helps in seeking admission.
Yeah, so research publication always is a good thing to have on your profile, but more importantly, it also shows the academic committee that you have certain skills that they can build upon. Because especially for Indian students, research writing, academic writing is not very strong for us, because
Right,
that is not an aspect that is focused upon in our curriculum. So if you have that on your profile, then it certainly gives you a big boost.
right. So thank you so much, Ritvik, for your very precise and very accurate answers. I'm sure it's going to help a lot of students. Let's hope that these 10,000 students who uploaded your video earlier should also benefit out of it. All the best for your future journey, Ritvik, and stay in touch.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Ann.
Thank
I
you.
hope it
And
helps.